Well, hello there, YouTube. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, so I thought it was time to start some new live streams here for the YouTube public. So what you've got here is a Rembrandt master study that we're going to start. I've got the me cam, I call it, the webcam, where I'm kind of looking for it, but the webcam is right there, where I'll be talking to you directly. I have the live chat enabled. Live chat replay is enabled, so those of you that are watching this as a pre-recorded video, you're able to watch the chat unfold as if it was happening in real time. So let's go ahead and get started here. Thanks, Jonas. So hey, Jonas, Flubber, Linda, Janice. Hope everyone is doing well. The reference for this was taken from Google Arts and Culture, and the link to that is in the description box of this video, along with the information for the materials that I'm using. But I'll guide you along as I go. So this is the usual kind of Rembrandt. It's titled Old Man, Portrait of an Old Man. This, I think, is Rembrandt at his finest, if you ask me. But that is pretty much a subjective thing. I like to make faces about the size of my hand, which is why I'm doing that. And placing the head somewhat centered relative to a horizontal. So maybe like from here to here. That's about good. Basic placement of the head. I'm working on a fine textured oil primed linen toned with oil paint Classens canvas. Classens is the brand. I stretched this canvas myself. I typically stretch my own canvases. In general, it is cheaper in the long run if you are stretching your own canvases. So I'm just going to go ahead and get an idea for the outside shape of his head, but most of the work is actually going to happen within the eyes and the nose. So let's see, a few marks here and there. Then it goes about there. And that's whatever. That's good for an idea of the head. Hey Pedro. Well, thanks for watching from Honduras. Just a little heads up on my schedule. I'm not going to make any promises, but I will do the best that I can to do a few more live streams. You know how it is. I usually will do a live stream series for a little bit before retreating away from the live streams, and then I return to them. So I do this kind of back and forth thing, but I'm in the mood to do it. I did a pre-recorded video. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. It is featuring these alkyd oil paints that were sent to me by this company called Paul Rubens. I really do stand by what I said in that video. They are very good alkyd oil paints for those of you that want to use alkyds. However, that took a long time to edit. I really just prefer painting. So I like painting and talking. I do this a lot throughout the week, actually. I do this for the online students on Patreon. And I'm going to actually be doing a lesson a couple hours from now. I do lessons there every Wednesday and every Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But anyway, I'm used to this. I enjoy this. Hey Jim, you live in Holland, which is full of museums with Rembrandts, which you can study at a distance from less than a meter. Wow. Seeing this live is amazing, and he is, yeah, Rembrandt is definitely a master. I'd say he's arguably the best portrait painter that ever lived. But I could be, I could be biased. But I think Rembrandt is the best portrait painter that ever lived. And this portrait, I think, is like in his heyday, like in his younger years, where he's, got that Rembrandt stuff going on. And I like his paintings from his older years too. Don't get me wrong, but this is definitely something this is something. I think this is probably one of the best portrait paintings from one of the best, if not the best, portrait painters in all of history, art history. Light and shadow is the most important thing. Get loose with it in the beginning. Just stretch out the muscles. Get that fear out of the way when you're starting a painting. Make some mistakes. Be bold with the mistakes. And work very fun. Have fun with it. Move that brush around. Don't be afraid of what people think of the start. I have the chat connected to a TV, so I should be able to see the chat a little better than I was able to in the past. Let's locate some very important landmarks of this guy's head. Step back. It's always important to step back. Okay, looking at the angle of his nose now. A little more straight. I'm also going to be teaching some in-person classes in Glen Echo, Maryland, and Howard County, Maryland. If anyone lives in the Maryland area and wants to take classes in person with me, alright, so what I'm more focused on right now, and I keep looking down because I'm looking at my laptop. What I'm more focused on right now is the main triangle. If I can get this close enough, I can start to jump into color, into forms pretty quickly. However, this can take a while. So it was very energetic at first, now it's slowing down. Very meticulous. Let's cover some of these shapes. I'm going to switch to a not so good brush just to cover some more of the darks. I like to draw with raw umber because it is relatively fast drying without being an alkyd, and it leans pretty well naturally to skin tone, any skin tone. Get that nice old beard there. One heck of a beard. He should be in a beard commercial. Hey Jennifer, how do you sign up for classes? If you're in the Maryland area, I'm teaching at Glen Echo, teaching in Glen Echo, this school called Yellow Barn. If you're closer to Howard County, I'm teaching, well, the hours are Howard County's Monday nights, 7 to 9, and Yellow Barn is nighttime Tuesday or Thursday nights, 7:30 to 9:30, and then there's a afternoon Sunday class and Monday class. But I also have classes online if anyone's interested in that, if you're further away from Maryland. But don't sweat it. I mean, if you want to just watch the videos for free and hang out too, that's all good. I appreciate having you all here. Hey Danny, where do I get my reference photos? I got this from Google Arts and Culture. If you check out the description box of this video, you will find the link to this reference. This has to be one of my favorite Rembrandts for like this month. I usually change favorites from month to month, but this is my favorite Rembrandt that I've seen. That's one heck of a beard, though. Gotta enjoy that beard. I will always, almost always, recommend that you study from the masters, even if you have to work from a reference, like pretty much most of us, myself included, have to. So of course, when I teach in person, I'll be teaching from a live model for portraiture and figure. But anyway, one of the reasons is that it's important to have that like in the back of your mind. I tend to repeat myself all the time, so I apologize if you heard the same story like 1,000 times from me. But having, like, close your eyes, and you see Rembrandt. It's better than if you close your eyes and you see a photograph. You're learning how to see through the guidance of the masters. Is a quick start essential in alla prima? Absolutely not. A quick start is not essential to alla prima. Some painters will tell you differently, but all painters will agree to some extent that the speed at which you start, if you start more aggressive with it, just straight lines and angles everywhere, it tends to loosen you up. That's good. That's a very good thing for about maybe 95 to 98% of painters. But there's always that percentage of painters that need to slow it down, and observe. Really train their eyes to observe, even in the beginning, whether it's alla prima or long term. So it's important to have a balance. It's important to have a balance. Let's see. Hey, Paulette. Oh, thank you for your comment. Following since you were in high school. Oh, awesome. Oh, thank you for the congratulations on the subscriber count. I'm very happy with that. I even changed my little thumbnail where I'm holding the plaque. I'm very happy with that. Okay, so I'm standing back again, looking at my computer. Rembrandt couldn't stand back and look at his computer, so we're a little fortunate, more fortunate than he is. Moving the mouth up a little bit. You know what? I think we're ready. Start to figure some stuff out in color. Oh gosh, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna go right into that forehead. That forehead is gonna be our key point in starting this. Yes, balance is definitely key in any subject. Recently I started as a full-time artist. I really don't have time for hobbies, but I do have a hobby now, other than caring for reptiles. Pool, pocket billiards, sometimes it's called. And man, did I started terrible in that. And I'm fortunate I actually have a teacher now for that. I'm meeting like once a month. So I know what it's like now to start in complete like nothingness and really want to learn. I really want to learn, going through all those YouTube videos and things like that. So I can put myself in your point of view. Hey, John. Oh, you're going to have double the painting time. John McGeekin is one of my online students. And he's going to be with me in a couple hours, too, when we do the grand finale of this John Singer Sargent study that we've been working on. So I'm mixing up a very simple skin tone. And please feel free to ask any art-related questions that you may have. It helps me out if you ask questions. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. If there's more questions being asked, even if you want to ask me where I'm from, like, you can ask me that too. As long as it's somewhat art related and you know, appropriate for the internet, for the general public. So I'm starting off dry brushing the forehead. This will ensure two things. One is that I'm following fat over lean, so I'm not going to have a problem with this painting drying. And I'm not going to have a problem with it drying all weird and cracking in the future. And then the other is that it's going to dry faster. So if I don't use as much thinner or medium. Now obviously you've got mediums that hasten the drying time like Alkyd. But for the most part, using less medium will actually make it dry faster, especially if you're using lead white, which is going to lead to this question here. Why do you use lead white instead of titanium white? Any advantages? I have both right now. It's pretty humid out. It's still summertime out there. So I've got lead white and titanium white. My lead white is actually a little too pasty. It's a little too difficult to work with right now, but the advantage that lead white has over titanium white is the control that it gives you in the middle value range. But it's not to say that you can't use, you can just use titanium only and you'll be fine. You can, just don't use as much of it as you do with lead white and you'll be fine. But I like to use lead white for the control that it gives me in the middle value range. This is going to be a long-term painting, pretty much like all of my paintings are like long-term. Do you flip your painting or use a mirror as your painting? I'm actually using my my laptop. I'm looking at this through my laptop, so it helps me so-called like double the distance from the painting to my eyes to the painting. I do use a mirror from time to time, whenever I can. Sometimes I'll use the mirror of my phone. So if you don't have a mirror, you can use the mirror from your phone like this. Close one eye and look at it. Don't confuse it with a black mirror. A black mirror is supposed to cancel out the values. It doesn't do that. It's a mirror. So if you want to have a very accessible mirror with you when you're out painting, just use your phone, the mirror on your phone. That will help you out. Remember, a mirror or any kind of optical device like that will help you double the distance from your painting to your eyes. Doubling the distance means it's giving you an extra perspective that you wouldn't normally have. Like I said, I'm working alla prima. I like to start alla prima for the most part, but I work on the painting long term, so I'll work on this thing for a long time, as you know if you've been watching my videos for a while. And that's one of my problems with YouTube, is that I take way too long to finish a painting. It's not helpful for me, but I'm hoping it's helpful for you, because you get to see a long-term process. Usually I'll do these videos for about an hour. So in an hour's time, I'll probably get a forehead and maybe an eye or two. I'll try to leave myself enough room so we can continue this very soon. I'm very inspired by Rembrandt. Rembrandt inspires the crap out of me. I really do think that he had an ability to bring painting to its essence, portrait painting to its essence, which is, you know, interpreting visual information and capturing the human soul, psyche, or whatever in art. It's an amazing thing to be able to behold. Now I'm modeling the forehead a little bit. I'll switch to titanium white for these lighter planes over there. So I am using both titanium white and lead white. For simple skin colors like old master looking skin colors, you can use the Zorn palette. See how only a little bit of titanium white? Look at that. It's hard to control, but it is a very effective thing to have. Anyway, the old masters, they really do give you a huge advantage learning wise over just painting from photo references. Well, the worst thing you could possibly do, I did a demo in Glen Echo before I was offered to teach there, and I mentioned during the demo, I did this in person, like with an audience, and I said the worst thing you can do is paint from a smiley photo reference as a birthday gift for a loved one or something like that. And like a couple of them were like, I told you, Sarah, I told you, Jennifer, you're not supposed to paint from those smiley references like that. And I'm like, thank you. It just will complicate things if you work from references that are just not ideal. But anyway, the comments have slowed down. If I'm talking too much, I apologize. I'll just focus on painting. By the way, this will be available for you to watch as a... Oh, did I miss something? Hey, Ben, let's see. I can't understand. I think that's it looks like German. Hey, Ben, I don't know how to translate that. Apologize. It looks like a question. Don't think I'm ignoring you, I just didn't see it. Starting with this accent. One thing I highly recommend you do is do these master studies and then do self-portraits. Today, do a master study. Tomorrow, start a self-portrait in the same method, the same process. And apply what you learned during the master study to your self-portrait. And keep doing those. Trust me, if you do that, do a combination of master study one day, self-portrait the other day, you're going to improve way faster than anything else you could ever do. I mean, clearly you could go to an atelier and spend thousands of dollars, like I did when I was younger, and learn from really good teachers. That's ideal. If you can do that, do that. But it comes at a cost. It comes at a big cost. Financially and in terms of your time. Oof, there's so much titanium white on here. I'm working holistically. I'm working big picture, big large structures, like a sculpture, and then I'm going to form it into a coherent, identifiable thing. Oh, he's asking, am I in German? No, I don't speak German. Maybe YouTube has a German translator. Sorry, I don't know the answer to that. I believe that YouTube does have subtitles in different languages. I'm gonna check that out. But some things can get lost in translation. I'm very honored though that you would be interested in that. Oh, hey Stephanie Thompson, welcome back. Oh, thank you for the super chat. I was not expecting that. Thank you. I don't have super chat Grumpy Cat, but I have super chat Forever Palette. So I will use super chat Forever Palette right here. Super chat Forever Palette says thank you. I will bring out my favorite palette in the whole wide world for those of you that are kind enough to give me a super chat. So thank you, Stephanie Thompson. That helps me out so much. Yeah, Stephanie, I'm gonna try to do my best to do more of these. That editing for that pre-recorded video it took just way too long. And I want to produce more content for you, for everyone. So I'll try to keep this up as much as I can. How many years have I been painting? Let me see, 2008, 2009. How many years ago was 2008?
It was 15 years ago.
Not 15, let's say 14 years. Since 2009. Hey Shuva, thanks for watching from India. 14 years. What? 14 years. 14 years. Ugh, I can't wrap my head around that. When I started painting, someone was born and now they're driving. Like they have a driver's license. Not a driver's license, but like a learner's permit. Around that time. Oh man, how time just happens to do its thing. Alright, so now we're going to have a mid-tone brush. We're going to have a mid-tone brush, a dark brush, a light brush. We're going to go to town on this area here. And what I'm going to do is work in Alla Prima wet on wet. I'm going to make this as 3D as we can. I'm going to leave this open, relatively open, so we can come back to it. How long have I been painting portraits? As soon as I started painting, I was painting portraits. So yeah, about that time, 14 years. Going on 15 years. A long time. And someone's thinking, you've been painting for that long and your painting looks this awful? Remember that, not saying you're thinking that, but remember that paintings go through an awkward stage, especially portrait paintings. And what's so difficult about portrait paintings that gives it that awkward stage is that psychological, uneasy feeling of an unfinished face. And I always say this, and I always repeat myself, think of, yeah, see, there you go. Just like you say, Becca, portraits scare you. Exactly. They scare you because, am I a fan of Nicholas Samurai? I don't know who that is. I haven't really been paying much attention to, like, YouTube other than, like, pocket billiards content, but, yeah, I apologize for that. Yeah, portraits scare you. Thanks for the question, though. I do appreciate the contribution to my algorithm here. portraits have that psychological thing to them where for some people, like I have a, I guess you could call her like a cousin-in-law. I have a cousin-in-law that is afraid of photographs of people, and she doesn't have a single photograph, a family photograph, or nothing. She's terrified of photographs of people, and that fear of the unfinished face is something like out of a scary movie, and that's called the I call it the awkward stage. So whenever a face is unfinished, it gives this anxiety, and if you don't calm down, if you don't relax and remind yourself that you're just getting started, it's gonna eat you alive. So the best thing to do is to take a deep breath, chillax, relax, have yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Maybe coffee wouldn't be so good because it can give you anxiety. So just have a cup of tea, put on some classical music, relax, maybe do some yoga, do some stretches, and then start painting. Becca, you paint landscapes or want to start portraits? You can do it. If you've already got some experience with oil paint or just paint in general, you can do it. Hey, Michael. Laura, do I make a living just with art? Yes, I do. Not a lavish living, not a very easy living, but I do. And I will be teaching in person, and I do consider that art because I think teaching is an art, and learning this is not enough. You have to learn to teach it. I love teaching. I love being able to get into people's minds and understand what they're thinking and make them better painters. My background is in math. I got a math degree in my early 20s. I was still painting, of course, during that time, just not full time. And I was a math tutor for a little bit, not a lot. So I do have a fascination with learning how other people learn. And I love learning in general. I love that feeling of being lost and then grasping something, like really understanding it. Let's see. So let's see, did I miss something? So Reading, Nicholas Samurai isn't an original artist. He takes other artists' artwork. Oh, cool. So lots of training with master studies. So that's good. Izipra, you're new to painting, so you'd like to know the difference between bristle brushes and synthetics. Okay. We can talk about that for a little bit. You might be able to see it. Never mind. It's slightly off camera. I've actually stapled my... don't do this at home. I've stapled my brush holder to the wall. So I've got pretty much all bristle brushes and sables. I've got bristles and sables is what I like to use. The difference between bristles and sables is that, or bristles and synthetics, is that bristles can hold more paint. If they're good quality bristles, they can hold more paint than synthetics. But there are synthetics nowadays like Princeton synthetic brushes, Princeton brand synthetic brushes. They can hold a lot of paint, a decent amount of paint. Like I have a synthetic, this is a synthetic really old brush. It's a Princeton Catalyst brush, polytip bristle. Let's see, so Becca, it just seems more challenging to get a likeness of people. I painted landscapes almost 20 years in oil. Oh wow. So Beto, when did you start your art channel? Love painting alongside your videos. Oh, thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. That's one of the main hopes that I have in making these videos is that people will paint along with me, whether they're working on their own paintings or the same painting. I started, I think, in 2017. So luckily I started pre-pandemic. And then of course pandemic happened and everyone and their uncle started a painting YouTube channel. So now it's much more competitive. So it's a little difficult to do things differently. But I do enjoy this, painting and talking and expressing my ideas to those that are willing to listen. Or those that are just bored and want to hang out with me. That's cool. Do I do yoga? No. But my wife does stretches, like yoga type stretches. So she's shown me some. I don't have the patience for them, but yeah, I've seen it in action. Mainly, my relaxation is pocket billiards. Let's see, Christopher. Is there any way to reuse a canvas for practice? I'm a little short. Yeah, definitely. If you notice this line here, the line there, uh, this is a reused linen. This was taken from a bigger linen canvas that I chopped up. If you see this little fold here, it was another linen canvas that I chopped up and just made a bunch of smaller ones. So yeah, as long as you don't work on a varnished painting, you can always reuse it. As long as your painting's thoroughly dry, just paint right into it. I really enjoy all these questions. This is awesome. Hey Renee, just found you, but I'm painting along. Usually work with oils, but been getting into acrylics lately. Cool. Thanks for joining. I hope you'll enjoy these videos. Angela, another one of the awesome online students, is here with us. I haven't seen you in a while, Angela. I hope all is well. Let's give him some little bags under his eyes. Hey, Isle of Man artist. Thanks for watching from the Isle of Man. So you're in the Isle of Man. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Do you ever see those motorcycle races that they have over there? I've always wanted to see them. I used to ride motorcycles, sport bikes. I always wished I could do one of those competitions. But I never even saw a track day, so I didn't get that far. No one's asked me about the tone of the canvas yet. I like to work on a gray, but I started umber sketch on white untoned canvas the other day. Oil prime linen. All of mine are oil prime linen. And wow, the control that you have on an oil prime linen untoned is amazing. So I'll probably do that with one. Yeah, let's see. It's the Grand Prix is on at the moment. Ah, I wish I could be there. Although those bikes are a little loud for me, but I wish I could be. In another lifetime, I probably would have been one of the racers there. That's so cool. I was into bikes when I was younger, but I have sensitive hearing, so I can't. It like gives me headaches, like loud noises. Dang, I wish I could be there. Here, Renee, are you completing each section as you go, or you come back to them later as you finish the entire painting? The latter. So I will come back to each section later. So I start off, do as much as I can, knowing I'm not going to like finish it, and then move on to say like here, adjacent form to adjacent form, and then I will return to it, just like you said. Eventually I will return to it. Christopher, do you cover the old painting with gesso? These are oil primed, so I paint over them like this. This is oil paint. So I re-oil paint over it. I'm loving the amount of questions. Keep them coming. Keep my YouTube channel alive, please. Thanks for watching from Pakistan. What is the company name of this oil paint? So this color right here on my brush, lead white mixed with some of this stuff. This is Michael Harding, lead white. I like to use Rublev, Winsor Newton, Michael Harding, and Old Holland. I mean, basically any brand, to be honest. I'm not very picky with brands. Like I said, that brand that I did the review for, you know, those paints are not that expensive. And yes, they don't handle the same as like the more expensive paints. But you can adapt to it. What I wouldn't suggest anyone do is use, unless you have to, like if all you have is student grade paints, then use student grade paints. But try to avoid that because student grade paints have like little fillers in them. I don't know what they put in them, but they're not just oil and pigment. So I wouldn't mess with those if you can avoid it. But all other artist grade oil paints, like there's Grumbacher, there's Rembrandt, Winsor Newton, Gamblin, Rublev, what's that? Geneva. There's all kinds of paints. Blue Ridge oil paint. CAS Alkyd Pro, Winsor Newton Griffin Alkyd, Cobra Talons water mixable. I've used pretty much all the brands I've mentioned, minus maybe like one or two, and it's okay. Let's see, Beto, can you describe your art materials and where you buy your canvases? Do you recommend buying in rolls? Definitely. If you see yourself painting in the next year or next 2 years and you want to work on quality surfaces without spending a crap load of money, spend the money on a linen roll. It will definitely pay itself off over time because it will. It just will. If you're buying a pre-stretched linen each time or a pre-stretched cotton canvas, anything pre-stretched, you're paying someone to stretch it, and you're paying someone to, you know, like the marketing and the distribution and all that stuff. It's just not worth it over time. Another thing you can do is, it's a little bit out of my reach. It's somewhere down there. You can buy panels, linen panels that are already stretched on like wood. Buy them in bulk. Well, the problem with that is it takes up more space than a roll does. Hey Michael, last time you watched me paint, I had short hair. Yeah, my hair just kind of keeps growing. I got kind of tired of going to get haircuts. Plus, I've been alive for 31 years and I've never had long hair, so I decided to grow my hair out. Becca, can you explain the use of cool colors for depth, planes, in the face of flesh tones? Yeah. Okay, I can do that. Yes, I do stretch my own canvases. Is linen canvas good for acrylic painting? It has to be universal primed, not oil primed. But I'm assuming yes, especially if it's a universal primed, like fine grained. Then yeah, that'll be good for acrylics. But I think panels might be better for acrylics just because of the thickness of the texture. The difference between explain cool colors for depth / planes in the face for flesh tones. Anatomically, some areas are better to change the temperature. For example, areas where the light is shining through, like if I hold my hand like this, you know, like when you're a kid and you look at the sun and you put your fingers in front of the sun and you can see the little red strips in between your fingers. That's like sunlight or that's light going through the skin. That happens in the ear, sometimes somewhere over here. That happens over here. So like here, 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 typically it's warmer. Here, if someone doesn't have a beard, it's usually cooler. All of this is relative, right? Here, it's typically warmer. Here, it's typically maybe cooler, closer to the yellow. So, I mean, it varies. Anatomically speaking, sometimes it can get cooler here because it's closer to the bone of the maxilla right here. And you'll see that in a lot of Rembrandt paintings and a lot of Baroque era paintings. They will push the skeleton here and here and make that cooler. Of course, I was trained using color perception in the Henry Henchy method. So I do look at color in relationships to one another before I do something like that. Maybe not so much for a Rembrandt master study, but usually. Issue vote. Do I love Indian artwork? Of course, actually, one of my best learning experiences was when I was living in Philadelphia, and I had a roommate, this Indian lady, lady from India. Her name is Snehal. I think it's pronounced Snehal Pagi, but it's written Snehal Page, like a page of a book. Snehal Page is her name. She was from India, and she is amazing. I mean, she's still painting, of course. Snehal, Snehal, her name. You might know her if you're in India. She's very well known. And if you do know her, you'll know exactly how lucky I was to be roommates with her. What do the kids say now? The youngsters? That's fire! They love saying fire. She was amazing. The youngsters would say she's fire. No problem, Becca. So we're approaching the 1 hour point, and like I said, a forehead and maybe an eye is exactly what I was planning to get started. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this all depends on my schedule and how things go for me. I'm hoping to return the same time tomorrow. So I'm going to try to hone in on a schedule where I can consistently do YouTube Not every day, but more frequently, 1 hour at a time, so the videos aren't too long. We'll work on the same paintings like this. Tomorrow this will be pretty much touch dry-ish, so I'll be able to work on this anyway, like this if I wanted to. So if you're interested, I'll give you about an 89% chance that it's like the weather forecast. There's an 89% chance that Yupari will be here tomorrow around the same time, 2:30. So if this is a good time for you, I know it's a better time for some than others. I plan on being here. Gotta get my Rembrandt painting skills back in order here. I really enjoy talking to all of you. Makes me feel like someone cares about my artwork, about my process, my methods of learning. Yep, no problem. Malik. Thanks, John Doe. Super. So yes, I am saying there's an 89% chance in the forecast that I will be here tomorrow. Same time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. For you, it's different if you're in a different part of the world, which most of you are. So write it down if this was a good time for you. Write it down in your planners. We're going to keep working on this guy. The thumbnail is going to look a little different. The reference is in the description box of this video. So if you want to get a head start and work on this while I'm away, you can do so. And if you want to post your artwork for others to see, I have created a Facebook group specifically for viewers of this of these live streams. Let's take you to the close-up now. You can't see the palette, of course, so you're only going to be in the close-up for a little bit. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Thanks, Becca. Yes, I do plan on it tomorrow. 89% chance I will be here. I'll be teaching night classes for the most part in person, and then I always do my YouTube or my Patreon lessons. I do 5:30 my time, so I have enough time to, you know, relax and stuff before that. Yep, no problem, Becca. Feel free to rewatch as many times as you like. Remember, YouTube is a free resource for you to learn. If you don't have the money to go to a university, you don't have the time to pay for an instructor, use YouTube. It is free. I know how important it is to have free content for you to be able to learn from. We're living in a new time, a new era, where people can learn things without having to pay a cent. Malik, do oil paints and acrylic paints give the same results? No, they can look the same if you mean by results in terms of how they look. From a picture, like if I take a picture, like someone can make an acrylic painting and it'll look just like this, but it's not going to have the same texture. It's not going to have the same translucency. It's not going to be as archival as an oil painting, especially using lead. one can argue that. I'm not a chemist, so I can't argue that. But it's not going to give you the same results. And let me tell you something. If you are using, this is for everyone. If you're using alkyd, I mean not alkyd, acrylic, because you don't want to use hazardous materials with oil paint, I suggest you use water mixable oil paints like Cobra Talons. Water mixable oil paint. That will get you better results faster than trying to do this with acrylics. The problem with acrylics is that you're reinventing the wheel with acrylics, because let's face it, the old masters did not have acrylics. The old masters had oil paint. They had paints that dried at about the same rate as ours do. I'm not complaining about acrylics, but I will say that acrylics will make it harder for you to do stuff like this. I'm not saying it's impossible. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I'm hating on acrylic, because I've made videos on acrylic. I've used acrylic before. So I'm just telling you, out of the, as close to the kindness of my soul, that water mixable oil paints are better for you if you're afraid of or have problems with hazardous materials. Let's see. Do you ever wanted to travel to India? That would be pretty cool. I would love to be able to travel the world and paint. Yes, I have thought of it. Doing like a world tour, doing painting demonstrations in like every country. I have thought about that in the past. I mean, not every country, but like, you know, every country that'll have me. I have thought about that. Let's see. Acrylics dry fast. It's a bit of a learning curve. Oh, yeah, definitely. And when they dry, they don't look exactly the same. Yeah, acrylics are definitely super difficult if you're trying to learn like old master. Basically anything that involves softness, acrylics are going to be difficult for you. Not saying it's impossible. Not saying it can't be done. There's some brilliant acrylic painters out there. I don't know any names, but I'm just assuming. Just based on the number of YouTube artists that I'm assuming exist now. These are all assumptions. I'm assuming there's some acrylic painters out there on YouTube that can probably do this. Hey, Becca, oh yeah, no problem, Malik. Is that a pool mixing technique you're using? Pool? Oh, you mean like mixing in the, well, kind of. I mean, I'm keeping the lights up here, the darks down here, the reds maybe like over here, the cools like over there, but it's all kind of like subconscious. I do prefer to use a bigger palette. I'm only using this so that you can see what I'm mixing. I'll get you in the close-up again so you can see what it is I'm doing. Hey Wayne, thanks for watching from Australia. Do I have any tips on overcoming inertia due to what? Perfectionism. Yeah, actually I do. I do. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. the best thing to do is to change things up. Because if you struggle with perfectionism, I feel like I have that problem sometimes. I think we all do. Change things up. Like I did a umber sketch on an untoned surface yesterday, and it just changed everything for me. I was just like, what? There's so much control. Like, and it helped me kind of get out of like a certain like mindset. Changing things up is the best thing I can suggest. And there's a reason I set this up between 2:30 and 3:30 my time, because my wife gets out of work 3:30. She's calling me right now. Hold on a second. Hey, can I call you back in like 5 minutes? Right. Right. See ya. There's a reason for that. It fits perfectly in my schedule. Hey Stephanie, thank you for the congratulations. Let's see. Burden, what do you think about liquid medium? I like it liquid. I have a medium here that's somewhat similar to that. I haven't used it, but it's right there. You can't see it because it's like a jelly. It's Neo-Megilp. So it's like this. Liquid is like my medium that I have here. It's a jelly, but it dries faster. I prefer Neo-Megilp because it dries at a moderate speed, not too fast. I made that nose way too long, but I'll correct it tomorrow. Remember, 89% chance that I'll be back. I'll just move that up. Let's see. I think I missed a comment. Let's see. I can't read the name. You also want to go super hard into mixing all your colors. Acrylics are definitely harder than oils. The drying time usually makes it difficult to compare colors. Well, there you go. I did kind of experience that a little bit too. Yeah, sometimes when you mix certain colors. So with cheaper colors, and I'll let this be the last thing I'll talk about. Cheaper colors, when they're mixed. So if you mix 3 cheap colors, you will lose a mixture that you can get when you mix 3 high quality colors. Because when the paints mix together and do their thing, something happens, I don't know what it is, with cheaper colors, that they don't bond together exactly like they would with higher density paints. It must have something to do with the density of pigment to fluid. I think the more density the pigment to the fluid, the more it will retain that delicate mixture. I feel like acrylics, because they're so watery, the pigment to fluid is not, it's not as strong. I don't know. I mean, you can bypass that by layering it, of course. So don't think I'm hating on acrylics. Don't think I'm hating on acrylics. So I left myself enough room. Like I said, 89% chance I shall be back tomorrow. Gotta make sure that everything is set so that I can keep working on it. This will be touch dry-ish, like relatively touch dry, but I will be able to work on all this stuff tomorrow, and then maybe the next day we can take it to somewhat close to a finish. But yes, hopefully you enjoyed. I'm gonna hang out for a minute, see if there are any last minute questions. Let's see. Isn't there enough of the paint, and it's poorly mixed with the binder? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I can only tell you because I've used paints that are not good. Like I've used water mixable. Not what? Jeez. artisan water mixable, like Winsor Newton's. I'm gonna get in trouble for this, so y'all back me up. I have used Winsor Newton's artisan water mixable oil paints. They are not as good as Cobra Talons. They're not as good as Holbein water mixable oil paints. Cobra Talons is pro, like that is pro water mixable oil paints. You can get this with water mixable oil paints if you use Cobra Talons. They're amazing. I have used student grade oil paints. They are just terrible, terrible, terrible. And sometimes it's the mixing. Like, I can mix it just the same, and I'm like, where did my color go? It didn't work. I don't know. I can't tell you like the science of it. I can only guess that it has something to do with the pigment to like binder pigment to like fluid ratio. That's just my guess. I can't really tell you exactly. Hey, Sterling Art. Oh, thank you for that comment. Oh, I'm so glad that my paintings have helped you up your skill level. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Erden, as I've tried before, I think it worked with transparency when using acrylics. I think so, yeah, building up. I mean, yeah, I remember when I was using it. Hey, Becca, you changed your bell notification to all because of not getting my notifications. Oh, thank you, thank you. Like I said, there's an 89% chance in the forecast that I will be here tomorrow around the same time. That is 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is going to be different for everyone around the world. Oh, thanks, Nicole. Thank you. It means a lot to me that you're doing that. Thank you. My hair must be a mess. I can feel it all around my hair. All around my head. Try tying it up, but it just undoes itself. All right, thank you so much, everyone. And as usual, here's my little online class, self-made little promotion here. For the online classes, this is a slideshow of the artworks that students have made. Yes, I will be updating the artworks for those of you that are in the online classes and are like, where's my image? I'm going to update it eventually, don't worry. I'm going to update it eventually. But remember, for my online classes, they start at $10 a month, gets you access to all the pre-recorded videos. $20 a month gets you access to the live lessons, which are the live streams, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Wednesday and Saturday. $40 a month group Zoom tier allows you to paint with me on Zoom twice a week. And there's a one-on-one Zoom, which is currently at full capacity. I have not raised my prices. I have not raised my prices ever since I started, so don't think that I raised my prices. I'm just explaining some of the stuff in my online classes. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I wish you the very best in all of your artwork. If you're watching this when the video just came out, 89% chance in the forecast that I will return tomorrow around the same time. I wish you the very best in all of your artwork, and I'll see you on the next one.